December 7th, 2020 at 6:15. Roll call, please.
Colburn.
Here.
Vaughn.
Here.
Gilbeck. Here. Ahern.
Here.
White.
Here.
Morrow. Wines. Here. Stroller.
Here. I do declare a quorum. This evening, the invocation will be by Mr. Meacham.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this time that we have to come together, this democracy that we have to represent. We ask that this evening, as the decisions are made for the city of Perry and for the community at home, we ask that those decisions will be made with wisdom, they'll be made with guidance, they'll be made in the purpose of furthering the goodness of this community and all the things around it. Your word in all things. We thank you for the gift of grace that you've given us through your Son, Jesus Christ. And it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Russ. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. This evening, in both meetings, you'll see more things on the consent agenda to maybe move the meeting along quicker. So we have 3 items in the consent agenda.
Hate to do this on our first stab. I'd like to make a motion to remove B from the consent agenda for discussion.
Okay. Motion to approve the other 2?
No, B. Do we need to remove it first and have discussion and then motion for the approval?
You said you removed it.
Okay. I don't need a second now.
I don't know, do they have to have a second price for that?
No, anybody can move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Move an item off.
Yeah. We need a motion to approve the rest of the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve items A and C on the consent agenda.
So now, do we do roll call now, Bryce? I forget.
You can.
Yeah, we'll approve those 2 and we'll come back to B. Roll call, please.
Colburn.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Gilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines. Yes.
Good.
Stroller.
Yes. Okay,
Do we have
Derek,
a second on that so she can mark it?
do we not have a second?
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Just want to make sure for records.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Derek.
On B, on page 41, there are some crossed out around meal pay with some blanks left. And I think we need to just disregard those blanks.
On what page?
41.
41, it's travel policy. We were talking about putting in some different costs there that never got formalized, so it'll just stay the way it is right now. Those reimbursements.
On D?
It would be D, yes, sir.
Yes.
Because right now it just leaves it blank.
So what you're saying, Bryce, it'll be the amounts that you have crossed out?
Yes. It will just remove the deletions and that'll be what it is.
Okay.
Those amounts.
Shall I make a motion for that?
Yes.
So
To approve it.
To
To approve it with that amendment.
with the amendment.
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve item B with the amendment of removing the crossouts on page 41D.
Second.
Can I amend that motion?
Sure.
There are 2 other, there's another crossout below that I do not want to remove. It'll be crossouts on first meal, second meal, and if out of the city overnight on item D.
So what were you, say it again, Derek?
There's a crossout down in the paragraph right below that that's also in D, and if I just left it in D, that would not cross that out in the way my motion was. So I'm saying on item D, we're only removing the crossout on first meal, second meal, and if out of the city overnight.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
All right. You have a motion to approve that. You made the motion. We have a second. Roll call, please.
Okay, Colburn.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Gilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Morrow. Wines. Yes. And Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. Item 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the PMA this evening. Means we have no assembly, we will just move on. Item 5, proclamation, accommodations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Seeing none, hearing none. Item 6,
Motion adjourned.
Second.
roll call, please.
All right, Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
Wine.
Yes.
Wines. Yes. And Stroller.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to call to order the City Council of the City of Perry, December 7th, 2020, at 6:21. Roll call, please.
All right, Goldar.
Here.
Vaughn.
Here.
Dilbeck. Here. Ahern.
Here.
Brown. White.
Here.
Morrow. Wines. Here. And Stroller.
Yes, I'm here, thank you. I do declare a quorum. Item number 1 is the consent agenda. Council, item number E, Pam from the library has asked us to pull that off. I don't know what the issues are, but that will be removed from the consent agenda this evening.
I'd like to remove E and H, please.
H,
That's the purchasing manual again, it's the same thing.
okay. E is a little different because it was just going to be pulled off completely. We're going to discuss that, so. All right, have a motion on the rest of the consent agenda?
So I'll make the motion to approve all items on the consent agenda except for E and H.
Second. Okay, thank you, Jerry. Roll call, please.
And Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines. Yes. And Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Derek, would you like to make that same motion?
Same motion, do I need to reword it, Bryce?
Pardon?
No, it's just a ditto motion.
Okay, ditto motion.
Second.
That's for item H, right?
For item H, for the same
Okay.
purchasing manual,
Any discussion?
Second.
Second ditto? That might get you in trouble. Roll call, please.
Okay, Goldar.
yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wines. Yes. And Stroller.
Yes, thank you. Item 4, comments from those assembled pertaining to the items on the city agenda. Seeing and hearing none. Item 5, proclamation, accommodations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. Item 6, Chief Financial Officer's report.
Since you guys didn't get to hear from me last week on the special meeting, I thought we'd at least kick it in here and give you just kind of a quick update on where we are. Sales tax, for the month, if you look at those percentages, we're back up above where we budgeted. We're running at 50%. So we're running really good on sales tax. Our hotel motel tax continues to be down, so that is one of our areas of concern. Mind you, we have carried over cash balances from many years prior, when our hotel motels were really good, but we are getting to the point that, and it won't happen in the next 18 months, but if we keep on this lower trend, we are going to have to start looking at how we're expending those hotel motel funds, because we are depleting those faster than what they're coming in. The majority of that is the debt payment on the ballparks. But then we also are making other economic development payments out of that money. So I want to put us on notice that piece is there.
When is that date? The payoff on that?
26.
26, okay.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
We're getting we still have 5 more years.
Thank you.
That comes on that. So overall, guys, everything is within budget. It's really where we expect those to be. if you're looking at utilities, we will start falling off on our electric profit margins. So don't look at the profit margin that we have in PMA and think it's going to sit there. We're out of those high months, July and August, billings, even into September. So we will lose that. We'll eat into those reserves, that we create in those first few months, in the next 2 months. But guys, other than that, I don't have anything major to tell you.
Any questions for us? We will move on to item 7. Item 7 is consider approval of ordinance number 2020-14 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 12, Article 2 of the Perry Municipal Code of 2020 by amending Section 12-222 entitled Storage and Parking of Commercial Vehicles, Recreational Vehicles, Camping Trailers, Hauling Trailers, Utility Trailers, boats in the city's residential district, prohibiting the parking of commercial vehicles upon any residential street or on any residential zone or residentially owned property, with the exception and the amending requirements of parking of recreational vehicles, camping trailers, hauling trailers, utility trailers, and boats in the city's residential district, providing for repeal or savings codification, severability, penalty, and declaring an emergency. We've talked about this for some time. It's went back and forth to the planning commission, maybe once or twice, I don't remember. But Larry, you want to lead this discussion on what your thought is here?
The original purpose of bringing this up was to get clarification for our code enforcement officers. And while I was going through planning commission, I had the opportunity to express my concern, which I think if you've read the accompanying letter, states it correctly. Most of you know that I trucked for 12 years. I have great respect for those guys. I'm glad I do what I do now. But in previous experience, I've been in a situation where a drop yard was behind a residential area, an older residential area in New Jersey, where you would pull your truck through and probably all hours of the day, all hours of the night, probably come within 5 feet of someone's window. And that's something that would stay with me for a long, long time. In Perry, we have houses that are on larger lots, and we have houses that are older homes and have very small property lots. That's my concern with having a semi sit there, perhaps idle for hours on the day if that's something that's needed. And I think that it's not proper for the residents. It may be convenient for the driver, and I get that. But for their neighbors, that's what bothers me. I think it's an inconvenience for them. We have 3 truck stops in town. There are other opportunities and places where they can park other than residential. Again, I have great respect for those folks, but a semi in residential areas is not the place I think it should be.
So
Thank you, Mayor.
I think this is important to you, but for the time being, I'd like to motion that we table this for further discussion. I think there's quite a bit of it that's still left up to interpretation. And I'd like to have further Zoom discussions if we can around those to get some of those questions answered and then bring it back. So that'd be my motion.
What kind of questions?
Questions around some of the residential things and stuff in here that leaves it up to, like it says, on any surface. So that would mean potentially if you saw it through a window, you could still get a ticket for that kind of thing.
And council, if you have questions, with all due respect, if you'll give those to me, then perhaps I can give you some answers so that when we do discuss this again, that you'll have those answers to your questions.
A couple questions I got real quick there is that, or statements to make is, one, Larry said a semi. It's not a semi, it's a tractor. We're not talking about taking the trailer down residential streets. We're talking about just the truck. And two, I'm completely against saying that someone can't take their truck home with them. It's their property as long as it's off the public street. I think they should have the right to park their truck at home if they wish to. But there would be something in the ordinance about you can't leave it running, you can't have your generators running, it's got to be shut off. But we can have that further discussion.
It includes some UTV, ATV things and stuff like that I'd like some further understanding around. But I don't want to have a long conversation here if we can keep from it. So that was my motion.
I'll second.
So Larry, we just need to get you all of our questions, and then you can compile those and send those, they're a blind copy or something to the rest of us,
Yes,
so.
I'd be happy to do that. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
There has been some lengthy discussion on Facebook. You know, people feel like that now we're trying to tell them what they can do at their house, on their property. And a lot of it come from people that are in this business, you know. So, I know there's a lot of loud vehicles that run up down our streets that are a lot louder than some of these trucks are, so. Anyway, yeah, let's get those questions to Larry and get some of those answered and clarified. I don't even know what the recommendation from the planning commission was, to be honest with you.
It was to pass the second part, and then it was to pass B, and then A looked completely different. A actually permitted them when it came out, so it went back as a prohibition.
Any further discussion? Okay. There's a motion on the floor to table this, no further. So,
She seconded.
yeah, I'm just saying that's what the motion is. I want everybody to know what they were voting on, okay? All right, roll call, please.
Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Gilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Lyons.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. Thank you. Item 8, consider approval of ordinance number 2020-26 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 7, Article 1 of the Perry Municipal Code 2020 by amending of Section 7-105 entitled Petty Cash, increasing the petty cash amount from $2,000 to $2,500 and increase the maximum payment for petty cash from $100 to $250 by the amendment of Section 7-111 entitled Oklahoma Public Competitive Bidding Act, making the code consistent with the state law, providing for repeal or savings codification, severability, and declaring an emergency. Like I said, it is just a match code, and it's something we've been doing already, so we just need to make sure we got it.
My only quick question would be, did we not cross those out and make those changes in the purchasing manual approval?
No, these are three specific
Okay.
items. The manual is much larger.
Okay, motion
So,
approved.
No, they're not really.
Second. Lyons.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Gilbeck. Yes. Ahern. Burns. White.
Yes.
Lyons. Yes. And Stroller.
Yes. I need a motion of emergency, please.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Gilbeck. Yes. Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Lyons. Yes. Stroller.
Yes. Thank you, council. Item number 9, discuss the COVID-19 pandemic. I'm sure all of you have been viewing the updates that comes through Russell Brand and into Larry, and then Larry gets them out to us. The numbers are going up like crazy. I'm hoping some of those numbers will die, because some of those people that are tested positive will surely start getting negative tests. But we just got to be very, very diligent in our actions as public. Anything else from anybody?
Is there any actions we need to take for the board? Any discussion around that? Try and help?
Well, Vince, there's not an action item on that. I mean, we can have a discussion if you want to, Derek, but I don't know if there's any action items on this.
Take any action deemed necessary.
Our number's getting high enough that we should start talking about a mask mandate.
Yeah, but I mean, without an ordinance, I don't think it can, right, Bryce?
You have to have something to look at. I have something to look at, but we didn't send it out as a part of the agenda, but I did prepare a mask mandate. There were feelings whether, it really isn't a mandate. Really what it is it says to the shop owners, if somebody comes in your store and refuses to put on a mask, then the police can come and he can be arrested for trespassing or
Well, you'd have to trespass first, right?
Yes. But, I mean, it's a lot like the one that was approved, where, Russ, in Clinton, you have one?
Yes, they put one in 3 weeks ago in Clinton.
Enid has one. There are a few communities that are looking at it. It's perhaps, I don't want to say more for show, but it's taking a stand, on you should wear your mask when you're indoors, and then there's a series of exceptions under it, and then there's no criminal penalties unless you refuse to abide by the shopkeeper, what he wants. And it also provides that if the shopkeeper itself has a specific policy on it, then that is the one that applies, because the shopkeeper could be more specific than that. Like, for instance, Toro, we wouldn't want to tell Toro necessarily what to do. They already have one. They probably already have one that's more specific. So the business owners could but the resolution recognizes that business owners can have their own policies, okay? And that would include no policy, okay?
Schools are the same way.
Huh?
Schools would fall into that same,
Yes.
they would have their own, I mean,
Yeah.
all
There
of
was
them have
something,
their own regulations.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
there was something in there that said state, federal buildings
Yeah,
or
state,
organizations
federal buildings,
are
school
exempt.
buildings, and religious institutions. Yeah, I mean, I had a bunch of exceptions in it, but it was did you happen to have that, Larry?
I do not.
I mean, it's more of an encouragement, right?
Yeah.
To back
Yeah,
up
it
any
definitely-
business owner that, yes,
I was wondering about, and I don't know how to word it, but we just show our support to the business owners.
Right.
My concern is that, we'll just use Brian for instance, because he's a business owner, okay? If Brian has a mask mandate at his shop, and I come in there.
I do.
he does.
Okay.
I do now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And so I come in there and say, I don't want to do that. I mean, so if Brian calls the police and has me trespassed, then next week I go back, I'm going to jail. There's nobody in this town that's going to do that. Because you have to have all the business you can get. And so is Homeland and Dollar General, all this, but nobody's going to do that. And we don't want to send our police down there.
But again, shouldn't that be something we encourage business owners have the right to do if they want to?
Exactly.
So, I mean, I'd kind of like to see this policy for an
Well,
instance.
it's on my disc. I could go get it in my car and read it to you. Does somebody have a printer here? I could print it out if you, I have it.
I may have.
Oh, wait a second, I would have it on my.
You should have it on email.
I can email it to all of you right now. I think,
But I think we ought to find some way to show support. I mean, a mask mandate, I think I mean, if you're outside in open air, you don't have to wear a mask. But
Yeah, it's just
if
indoor.
the shop, or whoever shop it is or business, if they don't require a mask,
do you
I
have,
don't think it's up to us
Larry, do you have?
to do that.
An email?
I don't believe it is either.
Yeah, I don't think it is.
I mean, be on your,
I mean, I think if a business is comfortable with that and that's what they want to do, then by all means, they should be able to.
Be the last one I said.
But I don't think they should be forced per se to do something like that.
I got it here, Bryce.
Here it is.
I just don't think our numbers warranted us to look at that stance before, but I think the numbers are getting there now, that it's a conversation that we need to
You find it,
continue to
Bryce?
have.
Yeah, I've got it. You want me to email it to
Especially
everybody?
what we
Yeah,
saw
go ahead.
about 2 weeks after Halloween, that's when everything starts spiking around here. So we're looking next week and the week after that, after Thanksgiving, that'll be the 2-week mark.
Right, and we're already
We
seeing
might
one
see
spike,
even
so,
more. And then we're
yeah.
going right into Christmas. So, I mean, we should at least be having the conversations so we're ready, but if the numbers are starting to go up.
And it's just, and I'm gonna tell you, it's just my personal belief, okay? That sanitizing is 10 times more effective than a mask mandate. Because, I've been in groups of people that wear masks,
Yeah.
and all the time, they're touching stuff. They're touching their mask, pulling their mask up and down, adjusting it, and touching stuff, and then touching their mask again. And I think we have to be more diligent about sanitizing ourselves than we were.
Yeah, it's a whole process where you have a bunch of things you can do to try to minimize the risk. And that's all
I
we're trying
think
to
it's all of
say.
it.
But I look at all these cities that have had mandates and they're.
And their numbers are going up. Stillwater's had a mandate for a long time, and their numbers are through the roof.
So, I haven't done anything.
Okay, but my husband had it, and my wife, or his wife, and his kids wore a mask.
Is that
And I
you,
think
or is
it
that your
did
wife?
make- It did make a big difference in our family that I believe that only one of us got it because he did quarantine from us. He did wear a mask if we walked in there. I wore a mask if I went in there, and I sanitized everything constantly. I don't think one or the other does it. I think it has to be all of it.
Well, I'm talking about in public, Jamie, where we don't know where any germs are.
I get it, I'm just saying, I don't think that we can say that masks don't do anything, because we don't know that. I mean, according to what you're seeing and, you know,
Well, I
what
think
they're
it's-
saying, it does help. I think it all helps.
Yeah, we've all been to these places that have mask mandates. Me and my wife spent the weekend in Fort Worth this last weekend. At the National Finals Rodeo, we went to 3 different trade shows. And they kept making announcements. I mean, it was packed. Announcements, if you don't put your mask on, we're shutting this thing down. It was just a courtesy thing. I mean, they were gonna shut that thing down. But, so the problem is, either everybody has to do it, or it's not gonna work. Because you go to Homeland,
If enough
Dollar
people
General, I
do
said
it,
this
if
at the
enough people
beginning,
do
if
it,
you go to
it's gonna
Homeland or
help.
Dollar General, and someone's in there touching stuff, and, you know, doing all this stuff, and you come in and buy groceries, and you're touching it all, and you touch your mask, and,
But yeah, if enough people are doing it, it is going to help. We know that empirically.
And we need to
So
be,
what we're just saying is let's encourage people
Yeah.
to act
Right.
responsibly,
Do you have it,
smart, and help each other.
well, that's why I said, I think we need to show some sign of support
Yeah.
for the businesses.
I just think that we all want to live in a community where we protect the most vulnerable. That's the bottom line, really. People are like, well, it's not really that big a deal. It might not be a big deal to you, but it is to the vulnerable populations. And don't we want to live in a community and in a nation where we protect those people and we do everything that we can to protect them? If they come back in a year and say, wearing a mask was ridiculous, I'll say, that's okay. I did what I thought was right
the right
based
thing
on
to
what I
do.
heard to protect the vulnerable. Until it affects you, kind of like Jamie, I mean, as an example, we just kind of push it off to the side. My wife talked to her sister today, a family of 5 siblings in the ages of 50 to 60. 3 died, 1 in the hospital, 1 sick. No secondary conditions, no nothing. That's real. They're not even in the vulnerable population. I'm not saying a mask, I think this is what we're all saying. I'm not saying a mask is going to stop totally. But everything we can do, sanitize, mask, social distance, all those kinds of things is going to reduce the risk. And that's all that I want to do, is reduce the risk to our most vulnerable population.
I agree 100% with you. But I wish that people would take it upon themselves to do that.
I agree.
And not have to make the council
I agree.
come and say, You gotta do this.
I agree, and I mean, you do see it more, like, I remember when this all first started, you walked through Hemland, you'd be the only one with the mask on. And now it's like, it's completely the opposite, like, everyone in there has, you know, I'm not saying Homeland's the only answer, I'm just saying that there was a time that you felt comfortable, like, oh, okay, I don't need one, and I feel like more people are definitely wearing masks in our community now than what we've ever seen. They're doing it more at the schools. Kids are willingly doing it, you know, they're seeing that their friends are getting it and starting to affect them, and the more encouragement I think we can do, and I think we're just backing up the businesses that, yes, we agree that whatever we can do to protect our population, and, you know, I mean, financially it hurts also. I mean, being closed isn't great for business, it doesn't help, and I think anything that we can do for our business owners also to make sure that everybody's protected financially and health-wise as much as we can do.
But do we want, I mean, you know, we told Phil Savani that we didn't have enough police officers to chop tires on the square for his ordinance that he wanted. Do we have enough police officers, and would you want a police officer down at Homeland or a police officer at Dollar General? So I think it'd be up to the business. I said I don't think a business would do it, but it would be up to that business, you know?
It was in my family too, but I still believe that a mandate is overstepping the bounds.
I agree with you. And Mike, by the way, Mike Morrill did text me today, we had that conversation, and Mike is totally against a mask mandate also. And he actually has it right now.
I think the big difference with the downtown issue is we had people go downtown and look, and there was adequate parking. So I don't see how that's comparable to.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, we said we didn't want police officers down there doing it. We didn't have time. That was the only point that I was making.
Phil, I've been to Fort Worth multiple times since they've had their mandates, and Stillwater and everywhere else. I mean, you walk in, you still have the one or two people without a mask on. It's not that they're policing it and they're sending, I know some places are, but it's not like they're really policing you. It's the encouragement and it's the peer pressure to go put on your mask.
That's the reason I said I think we need to put some kind of proclamation forward to these businesses. As a council, we support them.
Right. And I think it goes back to what Brian said, it's more about protecting our people, and you should want to. I mean, if it really does what they think that it does in order to help confine it, then why wouldn't you put a mask on to go shop or go into a restaurant or somewhere where you could have, you know, essentially hurt another human with this? I mean, why not do whatever we can to protect ourselves and others?
And you talk about people losing business. We do have a lot of the elderly population are now going to Stillwater to do grocery shopping where the groceries are delivered to them because they're afraid to shop in Perry. So
it's kind of funny you say that because I've heard of a lot of people coming to Perry and buying groceries because they don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I haven't witnessed that, you know, but
I have.
I was told that.
I know people would do that. So.
And I know that we talked about masks before, but I don't think our numbers warranted that, just like at the schools or anything like that, now that our numbers are starting to warrant us having.
So what does our numbers need to be down to? Just for instance, Billings, I don't have to look it up real quick, but Billings had 130 some cases last week, and they've got 31 this week. And
I know, I'm just saying when this was first brought up to us, and as a council, we decided we didn't want to do masks, we had like 3 cases at that time. We're not sitting at 3 cases anymore.
Well, no, and I respect that, but I'm just asking, what if our numbers crash and they come to 20 this next week?
That'd be awesome.
That'd be great.
That'd be awesome to keep wearing the mask. I mean.
Masks are working.
No, I agree.
I just look at it like this. This is a very, very small sacrifice that I can make to the vulnerable population. Let us remember that our grandparents and great-grandparents sacrificed their lives in wars, and we are fighting about wearing this for a few hours a day. That to me is wrong, because it's a small sacrifice for me to wear this, to protect you, to protect your grandma, to protect your aunt who's mentally handicapped and overweight. The vulnerable population. For me, I'm just telling you, all I can speak from my own personal belief is it's a sacrifice, I guess, to some degree for me to do this. Because I'd rather be at the front counter more comfortable and not have a screen in front of me and be able to interact and all those kind of things. But it's a small sacrifice at the end of the day, and particularly when I compare it to what our nation has done in terms of the sacrifices before this. It's ridiculous that people aren't willing to get up and put this on for a few hours a day to protect other people. When we were willing to go across the world to fight people for the democracy of our nation. That's how adamant I am about it. It's become so politicized, which is ridiculous. If we did this together, the numbers are not going to go to zero, but they certainly, that would drop.
I respect the same people you talk about, but I still don't believe in a mandate.
Well, I don't believe in a mandate. I think we ought to put together some kind of, a mandate. A mandate's a strong word.
I would
A mandate is to
definitely-
say you have to wear a mask, period.
I mean, I think we should, if we want to urge businesses to do that, I think that's what we're talking about here, then yeah, we should do that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't have any problem walking into a place when they say you gotta have it. I mean, you just wear it.
I don't think it's encouraging the businesses. I think the businesses are there. It's encouraging
I
Prairie
just,
citizens or other people to come into our communities.
I don't think the word mandate is the word we should use. I don't know, Bryce, you're Mr. Wordsmith, you come up with a better word, but,
I don't see the word mandate in here.
well, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, Jamie said
A
mandate, and I'm not
recommendation.
saying she means that. I'm just saying.
I didn't say
Well,
mask
this is a
mandate. I said
proclamation.
we should talk about mask requirements.
The first word on this is proclamation
Yeah,
by you.
I know, me and Russell and Larry, and I know Russell and I don't encourage it, okay?
And I'll say, I respect every comment that's been made here so far, and I do understand how people can feel it encroaches on their freedoms. It's something I struggle with both ways, but everybody's had some really good words here, and I respect every viewpoint that we've had so far. And I do think, I mean, I brought it up at the beginning, I do think something needs to be done. Our numbers are high. We need to determine that threshold, and things like that we proceed by.
Well, I'll tell you, this particular one, let's say a business didn't want to impose masks in his store. You know, he didn't want to make it a requirement. This doesn't require it. But he would have to put a sign on his front door, on his main entrance, saying, no mask, you do not need to wear a mask in this store. Okay? So then all the public knows what the rule is inside that store. So, I mean, let's not call this a mask mandate. It's very, very kind. If you have your own policy, and your policy is harsher or less harsh with respect to face coverings in the business, then you can impose that. But this is a way that we can help. If there's an issue, the police can come out, folks can come out and help.
I would actually,
help enforce this.
Bryce, I would actually rather it be stated where posted. You have to wear a mask. I don't think a business should have to post not required here.
Well, but the problem there is the public ought to know what the rule is. I mean, because this will be seen as Perry passed the mask mandate. I mean, that's what everybody, you gotta wear a mask, and that's not true the way it's written. If you're a business, you could provide a different rule. All that I provided was that you had to put it up on your door. You had to put that up. It seems to me it's only fair, then people that are in there and they have their mask on, they don't have to look at you in a bad way, or people that don't want to be around people without masks will know that if they go into that store, there will be people in there that won't have masks on. I mean, it's just to provide information.
No.
So, I mean, that's like the softest way that I could do it, passing a mask mandate that's at least fair, that helps, that where we help businesses, help police that. And, you know, for the most part, people will, you know, abide by it.
So the only concern on that comment on the door, for example, the campus, Toro campus out here, that has a whole bunch of doors. What would that require for them to do?
They have what?
They already have it on their doors, and they already have
every
their
door?
own.
That would be up to
department.
their own policy.
Do we have it on every door?
They have it on every door that's open to the,
Okay.
to employees or to the public.
I-
And then they have their own recommendation.
And
of what they
I
have to
main
do.
entrances.
No, I get that.
I tried to handle that by
Which is what they
main
said, like, we wouldn't be
entrances.
mandating what Toro.
No. But if we mandate that they have to have a sign, I didn't know if we have signs on every.
So as it sits, if we didn't do anything, and yet the business put on their door that they required one,
I don't think
and
they
then
care.
someone didn't,
But Jane does.
can't they still do the same thing to enforce that?
I think so. I think that, yeah, I mean, I think that's true.
You can refuse business.
Right.
If you refuse to have one on and you're saying, well, you know, you need to get out of my store.
Right.
No, I'm not gonna get out of your store. That's trespassing. Yes, I would say that. This is just, this is showing that we're taking a position. I mean, we haven't heretofore, but we're taking some position with respect to face coverings.
Even if you use mask recommended, or, I mean, if it's the mandate word that we don't like, I mean, there are other words that, I mean, it's still the same thing. We're not mandating that you do it, or we're gonna call the police or anything. It's just, maybe it's a recommendation. Period.
Well, it's really not a mandate. I mean,
Yeah.
this is a face covering proclamation recognizing that there's an emergency and we ought to take some action and bring public awareness in, and that we're willing to assist businesses in the implementation of it. That's what I'd say it is, and that's whether you're for it or against it. I mean, if you're against it, it's not real heavy, okay? If you're for it, it's not real heavy. You know, either way, it's not a real strict.
So if someone doesn't post anything on their business, I still don't get that you have to post, they're not required. They're not required anywhere right now,
Well, they're required by the business.
by the business, but as far, yeah. But
There's a
what,
lot that do have them up now.
pardon?
There are quite a few that have them up.
Yeah,
that have
well,
them
yeah,
up.
I agree, and maybe I misspoke that. What I'm
The
trying to
purpose
say,
of it is to inform the public.
but if you walk up there and you see a sign on the door, it's automatically everyone's gonna think, nobody's just gonna stop reading. I mean, you know, if you see a sign, they're gonna say, well, there's a mask mandate or mask required, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
So if it says no mask, I mean, they're just gonna see the sign and assume that it's required, you know, and do we have, I don't know, I disagree, that's just my opinion, I disagree that they should post a sign saying not required.
I also think we need to look at some of those exceptions. I'm trying to make it through all this, but a person working in an office alone with the door shut would not have to wear a mask. That could conflict with the business's policies.
There are a couple changes that were recommended. Larry, did you give those to me? First of all, it should be child under 2 years old. And then the recommendation was this came from a hospital administrator in O'Keene, because they're going to consider it tomorrow. Children under 2, and then person working in an office alone, period, and cross out with the door shut. Those were recommended to me by a hospital administrator from O'Keene.
What about like our city hall, where Christy and all the girls work together, so they have to wear a mask all day, even though,
If they have a office, then the answer is no.
so as they come and go through that office, they put their mask on and off all day?
So we have to do at work? You get up from your desk, you put on your mask.
Do they have the taped off areas, so if there were 2 people in one office, they could pull the mask to talk? if they're, as long as they're in
I'd
there.
have to, in the business area, we don't have people within 6 feet of each other.
So for,
They're on a rotation.
on their front desk area, where there's, was it three rows?
Ours, we got.
So as long as you guys are far enough apart, then possibly you wouldn't have to worry about it.
No, but you would have to have a language that would say a person working in an office or more than, or employees that are more than 6 feet apart.
Or 10 foot or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and put some measurement in there.
yeah.
If you're distanced. Now,
Yeah,
7, persons exercising or engaging in sports while maintaining social distancing where proper measures are in place for sanitizing surfaces. Some, that could, I assume since we're already exempting schools, that would not affect any school
No.
sport function.
no, those are all exempted, school buildings are exempted.
So that would only be like at the Y then?
Tina
Yeah.
Norton's gym, I mean,
Do I?
I said, or Tina Norton's
Tina's
gym,
gym.
but, or,
So,
I'm assuming all of you have seen that they did cancel the Tournament of Champions, right?
Yeah, well, I saw that today.
so I guess if a family was playing basketball at the Y, they'd have to wear their mask if they were within 6 foot?
Why's are mandated that?
Huh?
The why's are mandated that?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're working out in the facility, you gotta wear a mask.
Okay.
Now then, I don't know for sure what happened, maybe someone here does. A couple weekends ago, there was like 150 cars at the Armory. I guess they had maybe like a little league wrestling thing. That's in the city limits, that can't be happening, because there's a ton of adults in there, you know? And so, and that's not a school function, that's a kind of a private organization. So we have to keep eyes out for those kind of things. And is that only required, because if they require it, if that guy has his little league wrestling down there,
Well, I'd assume since that's a city facility, that'd be different.
if it's in his contract, you know, I don't know. How would that fall, Bryce?
if they're 6 feet away and they still have their mask coverings.
The chances were they were 6 feet.
Sorry, I'm just saying, we don't know until you go in there.
There was a lot of cars.
Well, the wrestlers won't be 6 foot away.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I thought personally that was a bad choice anyway, but. Sir?
Well, I think it comes under the person's exercising or engaged in sports while maintaining social distancing.
But what I'm saying, there's so many, who's gonna go down there and walk in there and go, oh, wait a minute, everybody's too close together down here, you gotta, because the school, the way I understand, the school did the right thing and said at these events, the participant gets in and the immediate family, and that's it. That's the way I understood it. I may be wrong, but I think that's the way I interpreted it. And that's a big gymnasium compared to.
Well, it may be we want to go public school, federal, state, public school, or county buildings or functions.
They said we could
Well, I still think,
Yeah,
I mean,
let's go.
do we have to go tell the chamber how to run their business? I mean, if they're 6 feet and they're socially distancing, I mean, we've waited this out long enough that most businesses already have some type of policy of what they're trying to do to social distance and wear face coverings and things like that.
I think
don't
City
tell everybody
Hall,
what to go do.
I think you're right, Jamie. I think City Hall has made all the precautions to make the people that work there safe.
Right,
I don't think we need to come in and supersede what their policies are now.
right, or if they have one office and they have, the door shut, not shut, I mean, really, I think what I was trying to get to was a public area where people are coming in and out, that it's an encouragement from the city that you wear a mask and you protect other citizens. If you're going into the restaurants, that you wear it till you get to your table, just like what others are doing. I mean,
I don't know for sure. Another example, Tommy Milligan down here, I mean, I know he's got 3 or 4 people that work in that office down there. Or the tax people, you know. I don't think it's our right to go into that business and tell them
no, I don't either.
how they function inside there.
Well, and we don't. He can post whatever he wants on his front door. Remember?
So we can post it on the front door of City Hall and no mask required.
Any business can set your own policy under this, just,
Okay, so then what about the office? I mean, you said if they come out of the office, they don't have to, they need to wear a mask.
any business that you would have to have a business set a different policy.
So if they posted no mask required, then it didn't matter if you're in the office or not. in
That's
that
correct.
business.
Yeah.
You can walk around without a mask.
Yeah,
But at least when you walk up to the door as a person, you know,
you know that
this
you don't
one's
want to go
not-
in there if you're,
yeah.
if you want to remain masked and want other people to be masked. That's my thought.
And I agree with like Brian's comment on trying to take care of the more vulnerable. But everybody has to also take care of themselves, and having that sign, I agree, could be helpful if maybe you just don't walk in that business. If you're vulnerable. But
I completely, also, Gary, I completely respect everything everybody said here, and especially the way Brian put, you know, his statement. But it aggravates me as a citizen that people won't protect themselves, that they're asking us to make that requirement. That upsets me. So council, what would you like? Derek, you don't want to be here very long.
I know, I'm gonna get back to a school function.
So, I will concede my wishes to not put up a sign that says it's not required. That will get us out of this discussion. They can put up a giant sign with a circle with a line through it or something, you know? But, how do you want to handle this, Bryce?
Well, I mean, you know, nobody should like this. It doesn't do enough for either side, but it does do something. It does make a statement. It does place Perry having done something about it and recognizing that it's an issue and enlisting the support of our law enforcement and our fire and EMS in helping to enforce masks to the extent the businesses want to enforce masks. That's what it does. Now, I mean, we can continue this, or we could work on this. I would tell you, if you pass it, you ought to drop that down to 2 years old, and then you ought to say,
When would the proclamation expire?
February 28th is what I had, and then I would also cross out that with the door shut, or as otherwise properly social distanced. I think that would probably help there.
or should we strike it?
Huh?
Should we strike it completely just for the business is the one that manages that policy?
That would be okay, just striking that altogether, dropping it 5 to 2.
I got a text message that says that Enid is 5 years old and Oklahoma City is 11. So I'm telling you, I have a 3-year-old grandson, and getting that kid to leave a mask on is a train wreck.
Well, then, yeah, this one is based on the Enid one, and theirs is 5.
I mean, just because someone from somewhere said 2, I mean, I don't think we have to say 2. It's
No,
up
you
to
don't
us.
have to.
I would rather it be 5, but, I mean, a 5-year-old child is more likely to understand you gotta leave that mask on, you know? And, but,
What can we tonight, Bryce, can I make the motion to
Yes.
approve this proclamation
Yes.
as presented? Leaving, well, the only thing we would remove, I believe, if I hear everybody right, would be the exceptions, which would be item 6.
Well, the one thing I want to say there is that is an exception to wearing, to having to wear a mask. So do you really want to remove that?
Well, I think it's up to the business to set that,
Okay,
not for us to set that.
okay.
Is that a fair statement to everybody else?
I think if everyone agrees with that, then I think that's a smart decision.
So that would be my motion.
Okay,
Removal of item 6.
This does say under 5. I think y'all already said that,
Yeah,
not 2.
So is that, let's make sure we understand that under 5 means 4 and under. Or does that mean 5 and under? I just want to know. what
children
it
under
says.
5 means under 5 years old, so
4 years,
you could be
364
4,
days.
364.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure what that said. Okay,
So did you want 5-year-olds to wear a mask or not?
I'm all right with that, yeah.
5-year-olds wear.
Yeah, but I just wanted to make sure that I was interpreting this.
I don't think anybody's gonna go up and go, are you 5? You look like a 5-year-old, maybe 5 and a half.
So I have a question. I'm sorry, we talked a lot about it, but I just want to make sure I have it clear in my mind. So if we pass this, this just gives the businesses the right to call the police to remove them.
Yes,
Yeah, it is,
And
Yes.
that's,
that's it. And I do want to emphasize,
yes.
and especially to the young lady over there, this is not a mandate.
Right.
Yeah, there's
But it's also
no
just
penal
making it
ordinance,
post,
there's
so we
no,
know,
there's
right?
no
I just-
fines that get enacted. I mean, your fine is gonna be, you're gonna be acting disorderly conduct, you know, because you're gonna refuse to do what the business owner wants you to do in his property, which he has the
It would be
reasonable right
similar
to
if
do.
somebody came into my shop without a shirt.
Yes.
but
Which-
you
And
can
I-
do
and I
that
said
today,
you-
though.
you need to
I'm
remove-
not
Well, give me a
Curtis,
sandwich,
you can do
if I
that
want a shirt.
today.
What if I wear a mask and a
Right?
shirt?
Is this just us as a council saying that that we'll back them, or what? Because you
I
can do that
think so.
today.
I think so, yes, I think.
So this is just us as a council saying that we back you, we support you to call the police. Is that,
Yes.
because they can
In
do
part.
all that today.
They can do all that today.
Yes, they
Yes,
can.
but it's just us showing support.
Okay.
So I want to make sure everyone understands what we're doing here, because every one of us will get a phone call, I promise you, from somebody.
Both sides.
Well, I personally think that the word proclamation is the key word. Because to me, that is that we're proclaiming that this is an important thing. It's not a mandate, but it's a proclamation that we as a city council believe that COVID is real, increasing, and we support our business owners in doing what they need to do to protect themselves and their customers.
I mean, I already did that anyway, though, because it is a law.
But
So
but
I
a
support-
proclamation, we have proclamations about lots of different things. You do proclamations because you're making a statement in support of something. If we don't approve something like this, we can just, it's as easy as just saying, well, yeah, it's a pretty big deal. But when a council or a government agency does a proclamation, it's basically saying that we are behind you, we support you. As opposed to, if we don't pass this, then just keep doing what you want to do. It's more of to me, proclamation equals statement. It's a statement of support, is all it
But
is.
we are also supporting the ones that put a sign on the door that says,
Right,
no mask.
right, exactly.
So we're supporting your freedom to make your choice at your place.
I would agree with that.
I do want to be clear that some people see wearing a mask as a statement as well. That, you know, people are going to see this from both sides. As Bill said, we're going to get feedback from both sides of this. And
Well, I guess that's why when we're passing something, I mean, to me, that's like mandate still, when we say we're passing something, instead of just saying. I support.
We're approving a mandate, we're not passing anything.
I mean, that's just what I hear when I say, when we
Yeah, I
hear,
understand what you're saying.
pass.
I'm on the fence because I support the business having their own policy, but at the same time, I'm like, it's something they can already do. So I don't
That's
see the need.
what I'm saying.
I think it's like several meetings ago, we hung up signs saying slow children playing, street signs. It's already illegal to speak. But we went ahead and put up the sign saying, hey, just watch out, there's kids playing around here, so please slow down. That's what this is doing. It's saying, slow down, watch out. There's people you might be able to help.
So did you make a motion, Brian?
I did make a motion removing item 6.
I'll second his motion.
Is there any further discussion?
Those texts are already coming through.
I was trying to cut mine off the pass. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
This one's hard for me. I'm gonna have to go with no.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
No.
Wines.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes. So it was 1, 2,
5, it passes.
5. All right. So, the proclamation did pass. So, it will now be up to the business owners. So let me ask this, I guess we should ask this prior to, so what if a business owner just doesn't put a sign up, Bryce? That means no, right?
Well, I don't have a penal provision for that, you know, so they would be asked to. And there's not a penalty, this is a proclamation, it's not an ordinance.
So I guess, are we gonna notify all our businesses now?
We should,
Put up a sign or not put up a
Yeah,
sign?
we should. Yep. Need to hand out copies of this, right, Larry?
That's what we need to do, we'll do that.
Yes.
I know that we have this COVID item on basically every agenda we have for quite some time. But I think we should also keep this proclamation in the forefront and talk about it from time to time as well,
Agreed.
that we continue. So,
And I think at any time we can withdraw that proclamation.
yes, that's in the
Really
last part after the day. We can rescind it.
Okay, is there any further discussion on item 9? All right. Item 10.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Goldar.
Yes.
Vaughn.
Yes.
Dilbeck.
Yes.
Ahern.
Yes.
White.
Yes.
Wine.
Yes.
Stroller.
Yes.